Hey everybody, it's Latasha Martin, and I am on doing our virtual tips for today. I am excited about our information that we're going to be sharing. It is 11 o'clock on the nose. We do these sessions Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So, my ask is that you share this broadcast with anyone that you know has a desire to do some work in the virtual space and are looking for tips and strategies and ideas for how they can do that effectively. So as I'm waiting for this session to populate a bit, I'm going to get ready to share my screen and share some information with you guys over in the chat area. If you could just hold for one moment as I get ready to share my screen because I have lots of information to share with you today. Okay, awesome. So hang on 1 second. Got to make sure you can see everything, everything. All right, perfect, perfect, perfect. So today's topic in the area of virtual tips and ideas is collaboration in calendars. I have been having different conversations with different individuals in different spaces in reference to being organized and just how do you stay organized when you're working with more than just yourself. And I do want to tell you that as you start to transition from live events over to virtual events, there's going to be areas that you're really good at, and there's going to be areas that you could probably learn, but it will be more effective with your time if you use people to partner with or collaborate with, or in some cases, hire contractors to help you with stuff. And so, if you're hiring these other resources and you're trying to manage all these other people that are doing different things, it's really important to you that you keep this information organized. And so, for our session today, that's going to be our place of focus. We're going to talk about things you can do to stay organized, tips that you can use, and resources, specific resources that I use to run my business or recommendations that I'll make for others as they are trying to run their business, or if you're a nonprofit organization. These are tools that you could be using to stay organized for the events that you're having, especially if this whole idea of going online for Sunday service or doing online experiences, whether it's teaching a class or is doing fundraising or doing parties, you still are going to be working with others. So this information, these tips can definitely help you. If as we're going through this session today, you're just like, oh my gosh, I need some additional help more than what you're probably going to give me today, I'm going to give you a link over in chat where you can schedule time with me on my calendar and we can talk about your specific needs in further detail. So I'm excited about that. So hang on 1 second, it'll pop up. Perfect. So let's go ahead and jump into our topics for today. Let's go ahead and walk with or talk about collaboration in calendars. So again, our focus today is looking at how not just normally how you have your own calendar. And actually, I'm still meeting with people who still work from paper calendars. And even if you do have a paper calendar that's your sweet spot, I still am highly encouraging you to either duplicate that information for when you're working with others or to try to go digital just a little bit, even if it's just for your business or your nonprofit activities. And so, again, it's really important that you have these ways to coordinate your calendars, and there's ways that you collaborate and communicate with others that's really effective for the goals that you want to accomplish with your business or your church or your nonprofit organization. So let's go to the next one. Okay. So the first thing that we're going to talk about are calendars. What you're going to notice in the tips that I'm giving you. And if you want to download this presentation, you can either do screenshots or you can go to my website at bonswisolutions.com. Put your name and your email there, and you'll be able to get access to all the tips and strategies that I've shared, not just the one from today. So let's go ahead and talk about Calendly. So Calendly is a tool that is designed if you are a person that schedules time with others, whether it's inside your team or clients. And so some of those clients that you might be working with might be just right now, it's your team members, and you can't just say, hey, Susan, when are you available? Or hey, John, do you have a moment? And so you need a tool where you can use something to schedule your time out. It's also a great tool if you are a person that it's super, super, super easy to use and it has no cost to it. So Calendly is one that you sync with whatever online calendar you are currently using. So what I was mentioning a moment ago is that if you are a person that's still using a paper calendar, that you'd want to put some things in an electronic calendar form. If you have an iPhone, you can use their calendar in its native form. It connects nicely with Calendly. If you use Microsoft 365, you can use that calendar with Calendly, or if you use Google and use the Google Calendar. Now, something nice with these different tools also actually is for, I know it's for Calendly, I know it's for Acuity, but Calendly, you can actually say, I'm going to set up one calendar for my personal and my family, one calendar that I have for my clients and my businesses or my members, and you can assign the Calendly to the appropriate calendar. But if you do everything digital, you'll have an overlap. So you'll be able to see or say that doesn't work for me because there's a conflict with your personal life. So again, if you want to have things that can happen seamlessly and you're not going back and forth and you want to sync this with your calendar, it's a great tool to use. You'll notice down in the next line there's different levels of Calendly. And generally, for most people, if you're using it and you're using it for personal, or even if you're a solopreneur or a smaller business, you don't have to invest in another level of Calendly. This one should be fine. The free version should be fine. The next tool, Doodle.com, and actually, you know what I'm going to do? Let me put these links down into the chat so that you guys can go to the right place. Because sometimes when you Google things, you'll be like, oh my gosh, I thought I was at the right location, and that wasn't it. So the first one I want to give you is Calendly. So you're going to see the link to the Calendly website. You can just go there and you can look at and explore Calendly. The next one that we're talking about is Doodle. Doodle is, if you're saying, you know what, Latasha, I know that you're saying I should go to a digital calendar, but I'm not going to do it. I'm just not going to do it. I want to go the old school way. What I would suggest to you then is that if you're not ready to go to a digital version of a calendar yet, then Doodle is the right tool for you. Now, you'll notice that there is a fee associated with Doodle. The cheapest one is $4.49 a month. That's saying paid annually, so you can't just pay per month, you have to pay annually. And even when you're looking at the fees for most subscriptions, you want to check that, because typically when they're advertising their subscriptions or their service or their software, they're advertising it at the annual price, not the monthly price. But here's the thing, if you're not sure if you like it yet, if it has a free trial, make sure you use the free trial. If you're still not convinced or they don't have a free trial, I would encourage you to go with the month to month payment, and then if you like it after a while, then convert to the annual and pay the balance of that year. Why am I saying that? Because what I've had experiences with recently, and it wasn't always this way, is that if you pay the annual amount and you think, oh, I'm going to get the savings, if you decide to cancel, some vendors may or may not allow you to cancel. And I recently had an experience with a certain organization where I bought the annual membership. I went back, I said, I'm not really using it. I wanted to cancel, and they would not let me cancel. All I could do was click the button and say, do not automatically uh, renew for the next year. So again, if you do get stuck in a contract where you do have the annual one, then you want to make sure you click the button to say do not auto renew. And honestly, you should be doing that anyways, because you just never know when your business needs might change, or you just might change your mind about that tool, or something else has come out. So again, Doodle is really cool because with Doodle, the way it works is you decide on a couple of days and times that you're available. And then when you have your couple of times or days when you're available, in the Doodle, you send out a link with those times and dates, and it's almost like a polling feature. And so it goes out to a group of people. They all select what's their first preference, what their second preference is. And by using Doodle, you don't have to go back and forth. Well, Sally, are you available Sunday at 4? No, John's not available because I have a conflict. Using Doodle is a great tool. But again, because it's such a weird name, you may want to tell people, hey, this Doodle is for, and explain to them what you're trying to do versus just sending off the link. So again, that's Doodle. It's a great tool if you have meetings with others, especially group meetings, and it's really hard for you to coordinate schedules. Doodle is a great tool for that. The third one is my favorite because that's the one that I'm currently using right now, and that's called Acuity Scheduling. Now, why do I like Acuity Scheduling? Well, Acuity Scheduling is like a scheduling tool on steroids. And so let me give you the link for Acuity Scheduling. And also, I'm going to give you my affiliate link because if you say I want to try Acuity scheduling, then I would really appreciate if you use the affiliate link. They do give us a referral fee. It's something minimal. I'm not sure how much it is, but you could really help a sister out. Let me put in there that this is my affiliate link to check out Acuity. Now, Acuity Scheduler, if they also have a free version of it, which again might be sufficient for most people. But let me tell you what's unique about Acuity Scheduling. Acuity Scheduling is really nice if you are a person that does online classes and you want to have your class to a certain size, you can do that in Acuity Scheduling. It's really nice if you're a business owner and you have different people. So let's just say that you have a consulting practice and there's 3 or 4 of you. Well, what you can do is you can set up types of appointments with Acuity, and you could assign, well, that's available for myself and a couple other coaches, but other people on the team, they can't do those. So it's a really really nice tool that can be used by an individual or by a group of people. And then another feature that I love about Acuity is you can create intake forms. So when people decide that they want to schedule a certain type of appointment with you, then what they do is they fill out that intake form as a part of them scheduling with you. Now, the third piece is the part that I really think is really nice that makes it, again, separates it from a couple of the other options that are out there, is that if you are scheduling a group class or if you do a consultation fee or there's a price for the meeting that you're having, that person, before they can finish scheduling or even get on your calendar, they can actually take payment for that class right in this tool. So again, it's a 3-step process. For those of you who have worked with me before, you know I'm all about automation. So it's really nice because you can set up a certain type of appointment. A person could select that appointment type, then they could pay that fee, then they could schedule the time, and then they could do the intake, and you receive all of that information back. Now, the last piece that's really good about Acuity scheduling also is, as a part of the package, you will get what I call a page that you can embed on your website. And on that page, let's say you have 10 different types of appointments, but you only really want the public to know about 3 or 4. You can customize that page for your scheduling tool, and you can only show the ones that you want the public to see. And then the private ones you could just send to people when it's appropriate. So, again, I love Acuity Scheduling. I think it's a great tool. It's really, really nice if you're doing coaching or consulting or anything that you find yourself having a hard time having the conversation around your fees, around professional services. It's a nice way to make sure that people just don't lock up time with you and they don't invest in that time. And in some cases, what I'll do is I'll have a fee that people have to pay to get on my calendar, and then I will refund that. It's just a way to lock it in, or I'll apply that fee to another service or package that they want to work with me on. So I love Acuity Scheduling. I think it's a great tool, very intuitive. You can use it from your mobile device or your desktop. And actually, with all the tools we've talked about, Calendly, Doodle, and Acuity Scheduler, they all can be used from either a desktop machine or a mobile device, whether it's your iPad or iPad, tablet, or your phone, whatever your smartphone is. I'm an Apple chick, that's why I always use Apple references. But whatever smart device you use is perfectly fine. So now let me just pause for a moment in case anyone's here with me on live and just see if there's any questions about the calendars that we've talked about before we shift over to the collaboration tools. Any questions at all? Okay, no questions. So now what we're going to do is we're going to shift over to the communication and collaboration tools. So let me break down exactly how is this different than the calendars that we just talked about. So you'll hear people sometimes, and some of these collaboration tools, you could use them for scheduling, but they're not designed for that. These tools are designed more for we're working on, let's just say, a party or an event, or we're working on a project together, or you're working with contractors trying to help you become virtual. And these tools are designed to help you communicate, assign tasks, and help you to keep track of who's doing what for what particular project. Now, some of them I believe are easier to use than others, but we're going to talk about the different ones or the top 3 that I'd like to share right now. So let's go ahead and talk about the first one, which is Asana. Asana is a great tool for online collaboration, and I'm going to put the link over here for Asana in the comment section. Let's see if it pops up. It's a little slow right now. I'm sure it'll come. Maybe it will. Maybe it won't. Let me try it again. There you go. So Asana is a great tool because it also is free. It's a nice tool because it's free, but it's only up to a certain amount of users. So if you have a larger project that's going to have multiple people on it, I would just say that if you're using Asana and actually these other tools that I talk about around collaboration and communication, it gets a little quirky with the pricing fee because typically once you go beyond the number that it assigns for the free version, then every additional user plus the other ones, there's a price per user for that particular team. So if you, I think Asana is up to 15. So if there's a group of 15 or less in your project team, you can use the free version of Asana. If you get to the point where your project and you're communicating with 15 or 16 and more, then what you're paying is per person, per per license or per user. So again, if it's 16 and you look at the next one, you say, okay, I'm paying the monthly fee, then it's 10.99 per person for that particular company. So it's not just $10.99. Now, the other thing that you want to remember as you start to move up into paid subscriptions, you also want to see, is there a minimum for the amount? And usually what they'll have is business solutions or personal solutions. And if you're a small business owner or a nonprofit organization that's smaller or a smaller church, I would say that you probably could use the personal version versus the business one, because the business subscriptions will typically are the ones that have the minimums that are included with that, and it gets a little expensive. So again, with Asana, for most people, you usually don't have 15 people working on a project. So you can usually get away with the free one, but just know that there's other options and there's other tools that you can use. So again, with Asana, it's really nice because you can assign projects, you can assign due dates, you can have sub due dates under each different type. So let's just say we were managing building out a website. And so you might have one area where you have your designers, you have one where you have your technical writers, one where you have your people that are going to just be editing content, another person that's going to be talking about the tools and the hardware, the other one is going to talk about the integration. All of those people could be sub parts underneath one particular project. The other thing that's nice about Asana is you don't have to share all of the information that's in Asana with everybody that's included on the project team. And that's usually the rule of thumb for all of the different tools that we're talking about with collaboration and communication. But again, Asana is really nice. It has a really nice interface when you're using it on a mobile device. You can use it on your desktop or your laptop or your tablet, and it's a really, really easy tool to use. Not very hard to use for your organization. It's all about what it is that you want to do. Now, although on Asana you can hold documents there, I do caution you of doing that because even if you're adding documents in as connecting when you're working with other people on the team, it might be hard to find something when you're looking for it after the fact. So again, for Asana, I really like it for project management. Not so sure that you want to do project management with a lot of documentation just stored there because it can get a little confusing. So again, Asana is a great tool for collaboration and communication. It's free, so you could try it out. And if you don't like it, that's fine. Now, the last thing I want to say about Asana is they're a little tricky because on Asana, when you go to the website, you don't always see the free option. It'll be easy to find the paid options, but you keep looking until you find the free option. You might even put it in the search bar to make sure that you enroll in the free option and not one of the paid ones. And if some of the features that you want to use are an upgrade, it'll tell you that because they won't be available to you, but it'll tell you that, and then you can make a decision. Do I want to upgrade or do I not? So again, that's Asana. Let's go over to the next tool. The next tool is Smartsheets. Now, I use Smartsheets with one of my clients, and Smartsheets, I want to say that the jury is out. Like, it's good for some things, but it can be a little hard when you're trying to do like an in-depth, lots of layers project plan. So if I was using Smartsheets for my own business and my own, like just me and maybe one or two people, and we were trying to keep track of a project or maybe two projects, it might be fine. But if you start getting into more aggressive project planning where you need to communicate with different people need to see different things, and everybody doesn't need to see everything. Or if you're I don't really recommend Smartsheets for that. I think Asana is better for that, or the next one that I'm going to talk about, which is Slack. But Smartsheets is great if you're doing simple project plans. If you have a couple of people, what's nice about it is in Smartsheets you can attach like other files too. And it is if you're using you probably feel the most comfortable in Smartsheets if right now for project planning you use Microsoft Excel or you use the Forms sheet in Google. Smartsheets seems like a natural transition for you because it's set up similar to that, but it doesn't have some of the robust features that Excel does. So that's where it can be a little frustrating. So again, Smartsheets is for basic project management where you could see everything on a page. If you're used to seeing things like you did in Microsoft Excel, it might be good for you. But again, if you're looking for something more sophisticated or easier to use when you have multiple projects and multiple people assigned to multiple parts of the project, Smartsheets is not what I would recommend. So that's what I have to say about Smartsheets. Now let's go to Latasha's favorite collaboration and communication tool right now. And the reason I love Slack, and let me just tell you, when I first heard about Slack or I first started using Slack, the first person that introduced me to Slack, I was so confused. I just couldn't understand it. So then later on, I decided that I wanted to try Slack for something else. And so as I started to dive deeper into learning Slack, I was like, this tool is awesome sauce. Why is Slack so great? Well, Slack is great is because not only does it have project management tools, but it also has some great tools for communication around if you wanted to do instant messaging with people who are in your Slack channel, or if you want to do a phone call or a video call and you didn't want to invest in something like Zoom because you're only speaking to one person at a time. So I love Slack for that. I also like that you can have multiple Slack channels and just have one account. And you don't have to have everyone in every single one of your Slack channels. So it's really a nice and a very powerful tool, even at the free version. So I have never paid for Slack, but I know that it is a very powerful tool in the free version of it. It's a little bit hard to maybe get used to it in the beginning, but once you understand it and you're using it, Slack is amazing. It is my favorite. I love it. Actually, today was supposed to be dedicated just to Slack, but then as I started to prepare, I said, well, because I'm on the tech tips and I just give general information, maybe, going into a deep dive on Slack might be a bit much. But if you do want me to give you information about Slack, I do have a recording that I have, and I'm going to upload that recording to the area that I talked about. So if you go to advancedwisesolutions.com, you put your email address in there and your first name, you'll have access to more of a drive or a walkthrough of Slack. And when you see that, you're going to say, oh my gosh, so simple. Why didn't I ever try it before? So again, I love these tools that I was talking about with you today around, calendar tools and collaboration tools. They're all really, really good. And the thing is that you can try one, and if you don't like it, you can go to another. But you don't want to stay on paper too long because, again, when you're transitioning into these digital solutions or these virtual solutions, you have a lot of players that are working with you, and you just don't want your information to get away from you. Even when you look at the tech tips that I give, all of my information is organized and I prep so I can find it easily. But you want to make sure that if you're going to use technology, that you take the time to get organized. You get organized. You get organized before you get started. Again, I'm going to put in here one more time. If you want to schedule time with me, feel free to go ahead and do that by clicking on a link in the comments. And as always, we will be here again on Friday at 11 a.m. If you have any questions or comments about the information that I've shared with you today, please put it in the comment area because I do monitor this page and I will provide responses back to it unless it warrants a deep dive conversation. And in that case, I'll send you the link again and say schedule some time to talk to me. It was my pleasure to work with you and share with you guys these tips today on did you hear me stuttering? Today. I said today. Let me go to the last page and just say my thank you. So it was my pleasure to share these tips and virtual solutions for getting organized around calendars and collaborations today. So if you have any other questions, I'd love to talk to you. My name is Latasha Martin, and I'm the owner of Vodswise Solutions. And I am just excited to serve in this time of uncertainty. So have a great day, and I'll see you again on Friday. Talk to you soon. Bye bye.